What is going on, guys? Matt Downs with Daily Grind Fantasy Sports to help give you the edge for the 6-game MLB slate. Cannot wait to break it down. If you guys want to be entered into the $25 giveaway that we will do on stream tonight, believe for NBA, please like, subscribe, and also comment your favorite GPP stack for this MLB slate. If you guys are brand new to this channel, we provide both free and paid content for all daily fantasy sports across all sports. If you could please share your support by hitting that subscribe button, notification bell, and of course smashing that like button for all of our future MLB content. If you would like to know more about becoming a better DFS player and taking down that big GPP, head over to www.patreon.com/DGFantasy for more information. Now is the time to sign up for Patreon. The MLB season just started up and our Patreon subscriptions just renewed on the 1st of the month. On Patreon, we give advanced cheat sheets for all DFS sports on Draftkings. These cheat sheets include updated projections, ownership, and our overall favorite plays from slate to slate. We take it a step further by teaching you how to play fantasy sports like a shark, by showing you where the best leverage spots are to put you in the best spots to take down tourneys. Also included is our private Discord chat where you get to talk over the slate with everyone, including our coaches, to help build your lineups. We had a fantastic opening day for MLB yesterday, guys. It was a sensational opener. Had plenty of games to choose from, and I want to spend the first, 2 or 3 minutes of this video talking about strategy for MLB because it's so crucial to talk about. It is one of the easiest ways to make money in DFS, especially if you're playing on SuperDraft. By the way, we will get to that here a little bit later in the video. Sign up using our SuperDraft link for a 50% match up to $500. So go ahead and sign up using the link below in the description. Let's go ahead and talk about some strategy and go over some of our Patreon success right away here. Elite, one of our coaches here in our Discord, who coaches NBA, coaches League of Legends, and now MLB, apparently $83 and $870 on opening day. What a sensational lineup. 208.2 points over there on Fanduel. And then SuperDraft, guys, on NBA, this guy got second place. Almost took down the GPP. Put down, let's see, how much did he put down? $70. $70 turned it into $370. So congratulations to him. And like I said, guys, SuperDraft, so much overlay. Please use the link below in the description, and we'll go over some SuperDraft plays a little bit later. But now let's talk about the strategy of MLB. Stack, 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 okay? And cover your bases when you don't stack. So last night, this was the night slate. We covered the night slate, and we also covered the main slate. This is specifically my screenshots because I want to show you what I am doing in each one of these MLB contests, okay? In smaller GPPs, you want to capitalize on the upside, but you also want to play the high-owned guys because they're very small GPPs, so it's very easy to get different, okay? So as you guys can see in the very top, that right there, I believe the chalk was on a couple guys from San Fran, from the White Sox. I actually have it in front of me. Grandal, David Moore, Moncada, Tim Anderson. They were all high-owned, and they were in that lineup there at the top. But in the bottom, I had low-owned stacks like the Angels. I had the Oakland A's. I had Seattle in there for all my 5-3 stacks, and as you guys know, all those stacks pretty much flopped and the chalk hit. Therefore, I made money in the small GPPs to capitalize on the upside. Instead of entering it into a double up, I entered it into a small GPP, turned $27 into $165, and therefore all my big GPPs pretty much flopped. $34 into $14, obviously lost money there. As you guys can see, same double up lineup, the $27 and the $165, $5 and the $10, and I did that just because I wanted to show you guys chalk lineup. I play in small GPPs and in cash lineups, and then at the very bottom, $20 and $8. So all those big GPPs flop. But imagine if it was the opposite. Imagine if the chalk did not hit, that $27 goes away. I don't make anything in there. But in the $34, I end up taking down the GPP. I believe first place was like $500 because it was a huge GPP. But nobody else had those stacks, obviously, because I placed last in all of them, okay? Pretty much. So that's the strategy for MLB. And this isn't just in the night slate. I did this on the main slate. We're going to talk about this screenshot. $103 and $121. I broke even because the chalk hit, because the core stack hit, because the Dodgers hit, okay? I min cash $33 and the $60, almost doubled up there. $20 and the $40 and the small GPPs. But in the big double ups, I actually didn't really flop all the way. I think in the bottom, which you guys can see at the very bottom, missed those GBPs, but all my big GBP stacks like Chicago, I believe I had the Pirates in there. They were off to a hot start. I was in first place in all those GBPs there for a while. I was looking at a big payday, but I flopped. But I still made my money back because of the cash hitting, and I took advantage of it in the small GBPs. That's it. That's the strategy. That's how these slates work for MLB. That's why I keep preaching to you guys. It's so easy to gain an edge in stacking sports like League of Legends, like MLB. And guys, believe it or not, there's still people out there watching these videos, watching these MLB videos that don't stack teams. Why? Well, it's just more edge for us. I wanted to talk about strategy because leading into our next slate here, let's talk about our leverage potential stacks. Yes, it's another cooler slate. Let's break it all down right here. We have Tampa Bay versus Miami at 7 o'clock. By the way, the slate does start at 7 o'clock as opposed to yesterday at 4 o'clock for opening day. 7 o'clock is a normal start time. 7.5 over under, which is actually the lowest on the slate. So definitely a game you're going to want to target for pitching because of the low over under. And then, yes, we have another core slate, the same exact teams, the Dodgers versus Colorado. White Sox, LA, looks like an 8.5 over under. So another good leverage stack. Oakland, same exact thing. Oakland versus Houston, 8.5. And then San Diego and Arizona, 8 over under. It's funny because Arizona was chalked because of their prices yesterday, and I believe they put up 8 runs, broke the slate a little bit in terms of ownership because they were all high owned, but they were bad chalk in my opinion, of course, and because of that I didn't get first place in my small GPP because a lot of the chalk was on Arizona. I only have like one guy in there. San Francisco and then Seattle was the last game, 8.5 over under, which actually isn't that bad at Seattle, so a lot of good leverage here, I think, but the 12 over under, we're hoping that the Dodgers flop, right? They're going to be chalk. If you guys want to play the chalk, it's going to be on the Dodgers in Colorado yet again. So anything else is going to be leverage, and I won't know my favorite stacks until this ownership column fills up, until I know the ownership on all these teams. But I can kind of guess here as we go over the Plate IQ and see what my favorite matchups look like. So on Plate IQ, I focus on 2 main statistical categories. That's ISO and weighted on-base average, because that's the only thing I care about against pitchers. In the very first game, this is the lowest over-under, so all these guys are going to be very, very low owned, and I actually like the matchup here for Miami. Aguilar, Cooper, Duvall, Anderson. I mean, all these guys look fantastic in terms of the matchup. They do very well versus lefties. Yarbrough, a lefty, going against lefties, lets up a 344 weighted on base average and a 164 ISO. Pretty good against righties, but again, you can focus on the majority of these guys. They look very good against Miami. Miami always a sneaky stack, and you can also expect that Yarbrough is going to be very high owned going against Miami. On the flip side here for the Rays, Lopez, very good pitching spot here. Rays are always very sneaky. I'm not too high on them, but again, I do believe in the over-under here. I do think it's going to be relatively low owned, or it's going to be relatively lower scoring, but all these guys are going to be low owned. So only big GPPs for both of these teams. Let's go down the list here. LA Dodgers versus Colorado. Get ready for all the green. Yep, there it is. Pretty good matchup, I think, for this pitcher against the Dodgers, just because, again, statistically, he actually looks pretty good. A lot of green here for him, but a lot of green for the Dodgers. Hit or miss. Again, this is the chalk stack. We don't have to talk about this anymore. Yes, obviously, I love Betts. There's Seager, Turner, Bellinger, Will Smith. They're all in great spots. By the way, Will Smith didn't get the start yesterday in the starting lineup, so it looks like he's going to be starting here. They project him to be in the 5th spot, so load up on him. He was very high owned before the slate started, and since he got pulled, obviously not there, but if he is going to be in this lineup, going to be very high owned. Switching over to the Colorado side, Trevor Bauer. With a beast, right? If we look at his statistics here, doesn't give up any power. The only soft spot he has here is versus lefties, so you want to target lefties here. Tapia, McMahon, Story, righty, Blackman, a very good hitter, lefty hitter too. So it's going to be hit or miss for this side as well. I don't believe in the Colorado side as much as I do the Dodgers side. They have a better matchup. But again, these guys are all going to be chalk on both sides of the ball. Trevor Bauer might be a sneaky GPP option for pitching just because everybody's going to be afraid of the Coors Park. Trevor Bauer, though, with a stud. Let's switch over to the White Sox here versus the Angels. This is going to be a good matchup for Dallas Keuchel here going against the Angels. A lot of green, yes, because Rendon, Upton, and Trout are studs, obviously. But based on last season's numbers, Trout didn't do too well here versus lefties. So if we look at that historically, definitely a good matchup here for Dallas. And again, I think if I'm going to be targeting anybody for low ownership, it's going to be Trout, Rendon, Upton. They look to be in the best spots here. The 3 through, I'd say 7 spots if you're going to be stacking this lineup. But again, very low ownership on this because we have a stud pitcher versus a very bad lineup here in the Angels. Switching over to the White Sox here. Henny, going against the White Sox. White Sox got off to a tremendous start last season. Had a very surprising season, but Tim Anderson, what a beast. ISO of 529 here in 57 plate appearances. appearances and a 605 weighted on base average just seems unreal. So love the White Sox here. And I think they're a very good leverage stack. Looks to be a decent matchup here versus righties. So Anderson, Robert, Abreu, Moncada, Grandal, the top 1 through 5 look fantastic here for upside. Looks like Henny going against righties is where you want to target in terms of power. Let's up a 207 ISO against opposing righties. Switching down to the next game here, we have Houston versus Oakland. Oakland is always under the radar. Houston, however, is never under the radar. A very good hitting team against a very bad Luzardo here against righties. And Altuve, Bregman, Correa, all great options here to choose in this matchup. A lot of green and a lot of red here against righties. Switching over to the Oakland side of the ball. Again, guys, Javier is pitching at the mound versus lefties. Does give up a lot of power. If you guys look up and down the board here, Olsen, Moreland, very good options here. You can even throw in some righties. Like I said, Oakland's always carrying very, very low ownership, and they're always under the radar. I don't know what it is about Oakland. I think it's because they always play in later games. That definitely factors into it. But if you guys want low ownership, yet another good leverage stack. Oakland always carrying sub 5% ownership across the board, especially for the later part of their lineup. Arizona, San Diego. San Diego was a kind of underwhelming. Kelly going against San Diego guys today. Tatis, Cronenworth, Machado, Hosmer, Myers. Look at the green. And then there's a tremendous drop off here. So 1 through 5, a fantastic leverage spot. Kelly, though, is showing us some good numbers here just historically dating back to last season, and almost 125 plate appearances here for him. So definitely a hit or miss. Kelly for low ownership. On the flip side, if you want to target the San Diego Padres for low ownership, don't mind that. So it's definitely going to be a hit or miss type of matchup here for both sides. Switching over to Arizona, I wasn't a believer in them last night. I'm probably not going to be a believer in them again tonight because Snell is at the mound and he is a tremendous pitcher, but does struggle to give up some righty power here. So righties, if you want to target them, 1 through 5, all righties. So again, could be another hit or miss, but I believe more in Snell here in this matchup. And then last but not least, we're going down to San Francisco versus Seattle. Talk about low ownership. This is the last part, or the last game rather, here on the slate. A lot of green here for the Giants. They are definitely the surprise team. They were last season, and they're going to continue to be in terms of hitting. Okay, so 400 ISO here for Slater and a 493 weighted on base average. If you guys see a lot of green on the pitching side, and then a lot of green on the batting side, so that means another hit or miss type matchup here. And then last but not least, Seattle, a lot of red. I'm going to be favoring Johnny Cueto. Cueto does give up some power to the lefties. If you guys believe in Seattle whatsoever, they did put up 8 runs last night, surprisingly. Just was an underwhelming score in general for all of their hitters. But power here is going to be from the lefties, so you want to target Kyle Seager. And that's really it. So I'm not that big of a believer here from Seattle. And now let's go over to our SuperDraft board where we will be inputting projections all day long. Some of my favorite pitchers over there are going to be Blake Snell. We just talked about 1.55 times multiplier. That is absolutely insane. And Luzardo actually had a 2 times multiplier, which is the highest multiplier that you can have. Definitely love him. And then talking over some batters, yes, all the Dodgers have fantastic projections. Let's get that out of the way. But if you want to fade them, go with another stack. San Diego showing well with Tatis at 1.45 times multiplier. Machado 1.5. And then also Hosmer here 1.65. Another good stack is going to be Colorado. And then all these other guys are going to be mixed in. But again, if you guys want all of our projections, $20 a month for our Patreon, now is the time to sign up. We talk about SuperDraft. We talk about MLB. We talk about strategy in there. And I think it's a fantastic value. If you guys are hesitant in doing it, you guys can just sit back and watch these free videos. I really do appreciate you guys. And if you did enjoy this content, please do hit that subscription button, notification bell, and of course smash that like button for all of our future MLB content. With all that being said, have a great rest of your day, and let's cash.